Hey yogis, and welcome to day 2 of our 7-day yoga challenge. I hope you enjoyed day 1 and you're ready to keep the momentum going. This is a grounding practice today to just help us feel like we're comfortable in our bodies, but also connected to the ground underneath us, even in crazy chaotic times. So grab a couple of blocks if you think you're gonna want them, find a quiet spot, roll out your mat, and I'll see you in a few. Okay, yogis, so we're gonna start on our backs, so go ahead and lay down. And if your low back is tight, you can always bend your knees, place your feet flat on the mat. Let your knees drop in toward each other. You can let your hands rest where they feel comfortable. If you wanna stretch your legs out straight, you can. You can always go for a hip opening variation with the soles of the feet together, a little Supta Baddha Konasana. And just take a few breaths here. And just start to feel the ground underneath you. Feel the temperature of the air in the room. Maybe you can take note of the colors coming through, the light through your eyelids. As you rest here, maybe one hand on your belly, one hand over your heart, you can start to feel the beating of your heart, that internal rhythm. And while you're here, connect also with the rhythm of your breath. And let that be your anchor today. We're gonna work on our feet, but breath is the best way to stay in the moment as much as you can. So connect with that inhalation and the exhalation. And do your best to stay with it as we move through our practice today. You're gonna start to move your fingers and wiggle your toes. And then bring your knees in, draw them into your chest and roll some circles. Oh. Okay, and then from here, you're gonna take your right leg and cross it over your left so your thighs cross. Flex your feet and let your heels start to move away from each other. You're gonna grab your knees or your shins for just a little Supta Baddha Konasana. And while you're here, you can notice how long your left side body is, and maybe notice how your right side has started to kind of like hitch because it's tight in there. And that's okay, let your outer right hip lengthen away, feel your shoulders soften. Take a breath in. And when you exhale, you're gonna drop your left foot to the floor, take your arms out to the sides, and let both knees fall over to the right. And while your knees go to the right, slide your gaze over to the left. All right, inhale, you're gonna come back up through the middle. Left foot's gonna stay on the mat. Draw your right foot in. Come into a happy baby here. Well, a halvesies happy baby. So maybe like a moderately content baby. All right, and we're just gonna hang here for a second, moving into the back of the thigh, the outer hip, maybe even into your low back if there's tightness there. And this next maneuver we're gonna do, and we've done it before in class, and it's never as graceful as I think it's gonna be, but we're gonna do it anyway, because it adds a little fun to the day. So you're gonna take your left hand to your foot as well. And then we're gonna roll up. So you're gonna push so hard into this right foot that we come all the way up. Oh, it's a little better than it normally is. And kind of tuck your left leg in. And then we're gonna grab this right foot and start to massage the sole of your foot. Yeah, I said it. You're gonna use your thumbs to just kind of press into the tops of your toes, down through the arch of your foot, maybe into your heel a little bit. Just to start to kind of wake up your foot. And actually, if you take your hands away from your foot for a second, you can actually feel them, right? Oh, it's like invigorated. Now let's invigorate it a little bit more by taking the left hand and weaving your fingers in between your toes. Yeah, that's what I said. All right, and then we're gonna stay here. If you're totally grossed out by your feet, I respect that. You can skip this part or, you know, look away. And with your fingers and your toes, you're just gonna roll some circles in your ankle and then in the other direction. And then push your foot back toward your shin a little bit to get a stretch through the back of your heel there, your Achilles, and then you're gonna pull the foot away. Yep, all right, and then you can take your fingers out of your toes and one more time kind of give your foot a general squeeze with your hands, and then take your right foot out in front and stomp it on the floor. Okay? Sound effects are not required, but they're encouraged. So now you're gonna shift your weight, excuse me, toward this right foot. Bring your fingertips to the mat and step the left leg back. Drop your left knee, sink into your hips and lift your chest, and just take a second here. Yeah. All right, now we're gonna swing this left leg back behind you and take a seat on your left heel. And this is a lot on your foot, but we're gonna try it. And just hang here for a second with this right leg in a lunge position. Wrap your left arm around. Maybe you find the low back with the back of your hand. Maybe you can wrap onto the front of this thigh here and just bring your right arm to the inner edge of that right knee, pressing it open. Yeah. All right, and then we're gonna release this, slowly come up off that poor heel. Stretch your right leg out, outer edge of the foot, either parallel to the edge of the mat, or you can come up onto your heel. Let your right arm slide down your leg. Take your left arm up and reach it over. That's it. And then from here, when you come back upright with your torso, glide your right foot in so you're back into this lunge. Swing your left hand down to the floor to the inside of your foot. Swing your left leg back behind you. Tuck your toes, lift that knee, and just find a twist here. Yeah, inhale. And when you exhale, right hand down, left knee down. We're gonna sweep the right leg back behind you for a three-legged table. Pull your low belly in. And then shift your weight to your right hand, take your left arm and stretch it forward. And just try to find some balance here. So I mean, we're all here in this life, walking on this planet, and you know that the ground isn't always gonna be beneath your feet, right? Sometimes it gets just ripped right out from underneath you. So figuring out how to kind of move with it and balance, right? Inhale. When you exhale, set it all back down to the mat. From here, untuck those toes if they're tucked. Send your hips back to your heels. Find an extended child's pose just for breath. And as you inhale, you're gonna slide your hands underneath you and come upright. Take your weight over toward this right side. Lean into your right hand. Grab the top of your left knee with your left hand. We're just gonna kind of stretch the front of the ankle here, the top of your left foot. You can push into the floor with the part of your foot that's still on the mat. That's cool. And then let that go and shift it over to the other side. Grab your right knee, peel it up. If you're a runner, this is a great thing to do, right? And press down to the top of the foot. Oh, yeah. All right, and then from here, you're gonna let that puppy drop to the floor. Slide your hands forward, spread your fingers, tuck your toes, send your hips up, and back downward facing dog, and pedal it out. And then gaze forward. You're gonna tiptoe to the top of the mat, sink your butt down, and roll all the way onto your back one more time. Up and down. Take your left leg, cross it over your right so the thighs cross. Here we go. You're gonna grab your knees, grab your shins, flex your feet, lengthen through the outer left hip, and breathe. Another breath here. And then drop your right foot to the mat. Let your arms come out to the sides. And then drop your knees over to the left. Slide your gaze to the right. All right, inhale, back up through center. Right foot to the mat. Left leg into a half happy baby. and breathe. Soft shoulder. If you want to go a little bit more intense, you can always stretch that right leg out. It's up to you. I'm going to keep it mild today. All right. And then we're going to spice it up now. This is why I kept this mild, because this is going to get spicy. You're going to grab your foot with your right hand, and you can kick your right leg out to give you a little bit more. We're going to roll up, press, 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 press. Oh, see? Press, 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 press through that left foot. You're going to tuck the right one in, and then just bring your left foot to where it feels comfortable, and we're going to do a little foot massage on this side. Now, don't, cheat this foot. You gave the other one a good massage, so do the same. Get through the toes, the arch of your foot, into your heel. Yes, okay. And then you're gonna thread your fingers in between your toes. Grab your ankle with your left hand and roll some circles. And then the other direction. Yeah, that's it. And then push your foot back a little bit. Pull it away. And then from here, you can take your fingers out of your toes. Give some more squeezes here. And then stomp out that left foot. Yeah. All right. Shift your weight forward. Step the right leg back. Drop your right knee. Sink your hips for a moment here. Find a little lunge. Might feel like a major lunge. And then you're going to sweep this right leg back behind you and take a seat. So your right side sitting bone is on your right heel. If this is absolutely mind-numbingly brutal, then you can always come up and you can just work from here. No one's going to tell. If you want to take the half bind, right arm's going to wrap around. Left forearm comes to the inside of that left leg. You can even bring your thumb and index finger together. Take your gaze down your left hand. Yeah. And then we're gonna lift your hips off your heel, stretch your left leg out. You can come onto the heel, or you can bring the inner edge of the foot toward the mat. Slide the left hand down, sweep your right arm up and over. Lengthen your tailbone. Then inhale, come on back up. Spin your left toes forward, spin your right hand down to the mat, lift your back knee, stretch it up. We'll twist it out here. And the opportunity to kind of push into that back of that leg. And then drop your right knee, drop your left hand, sweep your left leg back, low belly in. We're gonna find our balance here. Shoulders soft. That's it, take another breath. And when you exhale, right hand down, left knee down. This time you're gonna tuck your toes under, and walk your hands back toward your knees. Maybe you stop here because you're like, okay, this is good. If you wanna go a little deeper, you can come upright. Take a breath or two here. Not so bad, right? Also good if you spend a lot of time on your feet. And now from here, you're gonna take your hands to the mat and lift your knees in toward your chest. So we're still on the balls of our feet. And you can push your hands a little bit into the mat and drag your heels down. So we could, if we wanted to, go into a Pashasana with the feet flat on the mat, but we're not going for that. We're just letting the weight kind of drop back toward your heels. So you get a nice deep stretch through the back of your Achilles there, maybe into your foot and your calf as well. And then from here, you're just gonna drop those heels, lift your hips, and fold into an Uttanasana to the back of the mat. And now we're just gonna shift weight forward and back toward the balls of your feet, back toward your heels. Just start to feel your feet and their connection to the mat. That's it. And then you're gonna rock forward enough so you can come high onto the balls of your feet, and then drop your heels back. Maybe walk the hands back and see if you can lift the balls of your feet. And then again, you're gonna rock forward, lift your heels, and then rock back. Lift the balls of your feet one more time. Rock forward, using blocks if the hands don't, reasonably come to the floor. Yeah. All right, and then from here, you're gonna push into your feet. Inhale, come all the way up, Urdhva Hastasana. And when you exhale, drag your hands down through prayer. And then take that long walk to the top of your mat, leaving your notes behind you because, we're living on the edge today. All right, and then we're gonna do some toe yoga. So actually, I'll come to the middle of the mat. So we're gonna stand in Tadasana, feet flat on the mat. The idea here is just to feel your connection to the floor, right? But to also start to strengthen the muscles in your feet. Because, I mean, why not? Who doesn't want Hulk feet? So you want to keep the arches of your feet lifted, the four corners of your feet here and in the backs of the heels. You want to keep them rooted, like you had that like beautiful little footprint on the mat. And now you're just going to lift your big toes. Not so bad, right? Okay. Then drop your big toes without caving in, right? Keeping the shins where they are. You're going to push into your big toes and lift your four little toes. You know, whatever ones want to cooperate. And then drop the four toes, lift the big ones. Mindful of the arches in your feet, just go back and forth a couple of times and notice how when you drop the big toes and lift the four, that the arches want to drop to the floor and everything wants to kind of collapse inward. Try not to let that happen. If it does, don't get super mad at yourself. Just try to fight it as best you can. It'll get easier. Maybe one more each time. All right, and then let it go and stomp out your feet, because that's a lot. All right, top of the mat again. If you've abandoned your post, get back there. Feet underneath you. Inhale, reach your arms up. Come onto the balls of your feet. Oh, we're gonna stay on the balls of your feet. As you exhale, dive forward, Uttanasana. And now it's a wobbly one, so it's a slow descent. As you get to the floor, fingertips are gonna kind of graze the mat, and then reach up and back behind you like we're on a ski jump, one of those long ski jumpers. Inhale, and when you exhale, drop your heels, release your hands, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale and fold, plant your hands and step it back, downward facing dog. And now you're gonna gaze forward and step your right foot up between your thumbs. And moving into Skandasana, you're gonna spin your body toward that back foot, spin the left toes open and straighten your right leg. Yeah, so now the toes point up. And if you've got the mobility in your hip, in your foot, and in your ankle, you may be able to set your heel down. It doesn't exist in my body on this side, so just wherever you are. You can keep your fingertips on the mat. If you want to work some balance here, you can bring your hands into prayer. And now we're going to go into a reverse warrior. So try to keep your torso super close to this inner leg. As you shift your weight toward the right foot, you're going to bend your right knee, and then like you're diving reverse out of the water. Reach your right arm up and back and swing your left fingertips toward your inner right knee. Yes. And then inhale, just come up into your warrior two. And feel your feet firmly rooted on the mat underneath you. So you would really push down, like sink into the floor. But at the same time, don't let yourself get enveloped, right? You want to push back into the floor. And now we're going to pivot onto the ball of this back foot. Sweep the left arm forward, finding a crescent lunge. Relax your shoulders. You can even lift the corners of your mouth. Yeah. All right, warrior three. Sweep your arms back. Take your chest forward. You can hop the back foot in. Find your gaze point, press into the floor, and with slow control, lift yourself into your warrior three. You got it. Slowly now we're going to come on up to stand, pendulum this left leg forward, sweep your arms up, toes lift toward the sky, fingertips rise, inhale. As you exhale, left foot next to the right and fold Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift, lengthen it out. Exhale and fold, plant your hands and walk back, downward facing dog. If you feel like hopping, you can hop. I'm staying kind of low to the ground today. Inhale, come forward into your plank. And knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga, lower yourself down. Baby cobra, or an upward facing dog. And then pull it back, downward facing dog. You're gonna gaze forward, step the left foot up between your thumbs. And now Skandasana here, Goddess of War pose. Gonna walk your hands back toward that right foot. Now spin the right foot. Come onto your left heel and take a breather here. And now again, maybe this heel comes to the floor. I think on this side it's accessible, but but certainly not practical. So whatever you want to do here, you can again find your drishti, your gaze point, find some balance. And now we reverse warrior back toward that left foot. So try to hug the inner edge of your leg, like you're diving forward, and then come out of it and reverse, moving slowly. Sweep your right fingertips toward that inner left thigh. And then inhale, come up, find your warrior two. Feet underneath you, everything grounded, steady, right? You want to build your house on a good, strong foundation. So just check out what's going on with your legs, with your feet. If you want to be here with your hands on your hips because we're focused here, then do it. All right, we're going to crescent lunge. So pivot on the ball of that right foot. Coming into your lunge, soften your shoulders. And again, feel the ground rise up under your feet. All right, warrior three. Take your chest forward, sweep your arms back, working on those moments when the ground is no longer solid underneath you. Make your way into your Virabhadrasana 3. And maybe it's wobbly. It's okay. We're gonna slowly lift the chest, pendulum that right foot forward, take the arms up, finding your balance here, low belly in and up. And when you exhale, right foot meets the left and fold Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift, lengthen out. And as you exhale, fold, you're gonna plant your hands and walk your feet back again. Downward facing dog. And then exhale slowly, drop your knees to the mat, untuck your toes, send your hips back toward your heels. Take a moment here in a child's pose. Let your shoulders soften toward the floor. The weight of your body sink down. All right, slowly now, gonna inhale, come on up. Take your feet to one side. You're gonna sit back, stretch your legs out. Here we go. We're gonna slide into a Janu Shirshasana, right? So we're gonna hug this left foot in. Right leg's gonna come straight out in front. If you're having a hard time sitting up right here and your pelvis is kind of leaning back, you can sit up on a blanket to give you a little more oomph to allow your pelvis to tilt forward. Inhale, find length. And when you exhale, come out and over. Try to keep your spine nice and long as you work here. Feel the top of your right thigh round down, root down. Inhale. And now when you exhale, if you want to round your spine for a moment, tuck your chin toward your chest, close your eyes and breathe. And slowly make your way up. All right, and we're just gonna switch sides. So left leg out, right foot in. Inhale, lengthen up. And when you exhale, come out and stretch over that leg. Same thing, try to keep the sides of your body long. Try to keep the front and the back of your body long for a moment, for a breath or two. So you really work the hinge in that left hip. And then after you've worked that for a couple of breaths, then you can start to round in. And then hands come back underneath you. Roll yourself upright, You're gonna slide the soles of both feet together. You're gonna press them in gently toward each other. Grab your ankles, inhale, lengthen up, and when you exhale, fold, come out and over. And you can walk the hands forward if that feels better. You can keep your hands on your ankles and use your elbows to encourage your inner thighs to open. I used to do that on my younger body. My older body doesn't appreciate it as much though. So just listen to what works for you. And then come all the way back up. You're gonna grab the outer edges of your knees, pull them in. Make sure there's nothing behind you that you're gonna regret rolling onto, like a pair of sleeping dog feet. And you're gonna roll back. And when you get back there, hug your knees wide. Grab the outer edges of your feet. Find a happy baby here. Now it's a full-on happy baby. It's just a blissful child. I don't know, maybe not. All right, and hug your knees in again. You can drop your feet to the mat, take them wide, let them fall to one side, up through the center and let them fall to the other. And maybe a couple of times that way if you want more release. And then one last time, hug your knees in. You're gonna start to walk your forearms over the tops of your knees. And maybe you just get to the wrists. Maybe you can walk a little bit deeper in. You're gonna kind of hug yourself into a little tiny ball. And as you hug your knees into your chest, press your knees back into your arms so there's some resistance there. Take a breath in. When you exhale, you're gonna curl in super tight, nose toward your knees. Take another breath, even though it's really hard to breathe here. And when you exhale, you're gonna unfold yourself all the way out. Let yourself relax on the floor. If you wanna feel more grounded here, you can bring your arms closer in, maybe palms face the floor. If you wanna bring your hands to your belly, you can. And just let yourself relax. Soften on the floor. And breathe. Once again, feeling the ground rise up to support you. And you can stay here as long as you'd like. Pause the video and then restart it once you're ready. And when you're ready, you're gonna take one hand to your belly, one hand to your heart, and just breathe into that space. And then start to wiggle your toes and draw your knees in. Roll to your right side and come on up and find a comfortable seat. Once you make it there, bring your palms together into Anjali Mudra and bow your head and honor your time on the mat this second day of your 7-day challenge. And I want to say thanks for choosing to practice with me today. I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow, or maybe you need a break and I'll see you in a couple of days. Have a great day. I've got some more videos if you want to check those out. If you haven't quite yet, you can subscribe to my channel. It's super helpful if you do that, or share with a friend, whatever makes your heart go boom, boom. Have a great day, guys.